Yo! So what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Cold War video. I'm just going to run with that intro. I'm trying to switch things up, okay? And in tonight's upload, we're going to be taking a look at my top three, my three favorite weapons, and obviously with their class setups, as it would be kind of a pointless video to not, add my class setups alongside of it. We're just going to be running through what I use the most, what guns I've had the best experience with, everything like that. And if you're brand new to the channel, obviously drop a sub with notice on, as I've got a lot of Cold War content coming. If you just want to stay up to date with all my videos, that bell notification is what you'll need to tick on to make sure you actually know when I upload. Now, back when I used to do these videos in Warzone, I would base the weapons off of their overall performance, the ability to take on long, medium, and close range. With multiplayer, it's kind of not like that. The maps are a lot smaller. Pretty much everything can beam everything at any range because it's kind of just multiplayer, and that's how it is. It's an arcade shooter. It's been like that in all Call of Duties. I can't remember the last time a Call of Duty had SMGs in it that beamed at realistic ranges, that had realistic stats, because Call of Duty from the start has always been an arcade shooter, and that's why SMGs do what they do. So I'm not going to be ranking them off of their overall performance because everything does well in multiplayer basically, and I'm just going to be basing them off of my personal experience, how much I've been able to shred with each weapon, and that's basically how we're doing the video. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy, man. With that being said, let's hop into my top three favorite weapons and their class setups within Cold War multiplayer. So coming in at the number 3 spot, I'm going to be placing the Bullfrog. Now, over the last couple days, this has definitely become one of my favorite weapons to use within multiplayer, and of course it comes down to personal preference. I really like the iron sights of the gun. The gun feels really satisfying to get kills with, and overall it's just a great weapon to use. I really love it. It's got a lot of ammo in it too. We're going to be moving on to the class setup soon. The mag that this thing can hold is really huge, and it just makes for basically like not reloading very often. You can get a lot of kills each mag without having to reload, which is obviously convenient for certain situations. I know a lot of you guys, including myself, have died to having to reload, and only having a couple bullets left and having to reload and then dying to that. And this like literally never happens with this gun. I cannot recall a time where I've died having to reload, and that's thanks to the 85 rounds that this gun can hold. Now, talking about the stats and how this gun actually performs, now this weapon by far is definitely not a pea shooter, don't get me wrong, but when I was on the journey of leveling this gun up to its max rank so I could get all of the attachments and get the best performance out of it, I definitely noticed I was losing more gunfights at SMG ranges, close range building engagements, than I would with an MP5 or a 74U, just because it has slightly lower fire rate. It's noticeable, it's not too much, but it's a noticeably lower fire rate, and that's kind of what would have it, lose more often. You'd have to pre-aim a lot more. You'd have to absolutely make sure you get your first shot off and hit your shots. It was really important to do that. So moving on to the Bullfrog's class setup, we're going to be rocking a suppressor, obviously helping us keep quiet, stay off the minimap, everything like that. We're going to be rocking the Task Force barrel, which will give you 3% extra damage. It'll give you 50% effective damage range and 75% bullet velocity, which is the three main things that factor into this gun feeling a lot better before you put it on. It's a noticeable difference. We're going to be using the Spetsnaz grip that'll cancel out most of the recoil that the Task Force barrel adds. Then obviously the 85 round mag and the GRU elastic wrap. So coming in at this next spot, I had to really give this a thought. I had to think about a few factors with both of the weapons that I had to decide between which was going to go on which spot, and we're going to be looking at the AK-47. Now, with this class specifically, it is much more of a sit back, hold some power positions, and really just pick people off from ranges. Of course, in the gameplay, you will see me in certain situations where I take people out at close range and kind of run out a little bit more with it, but I found a lot more success kind of sitting back and holding power positions and taking people off at ranges rather than getting up close and personal like you would maybe with a commando or other assault rifles and SMGs, because there are definitely ARs in this game that you can make work for closer ranges, especially switching around my class and making an actual fast ADS setup. So with this class, I'm going to be rocking the Microflex LED. Obviously personal preference, there's a few different red dots you can choose. That's just the one I feel most accurate with. Next, we're going to be rocking a suppressor, yet again to start off the minimap, keep us hidden, everything like that. And then we're going to be rocking the Spetsnaz RPK barrel as the next attachment. This will add 11% damage, 50% effective damage range, and 50% bullet velocity on top of a gun that is already such a heavy hitting weapon that feels good without it, and then adding it on top of it just as a no-brainer. There's absolutely no reason you shouldn't be using the Spetsnaz RPK barrel. Obviously, like all of these types of barrels, it'll add vertical and horizontal recoil, and then you can just cancel it out with the next attachment, which is going to be the Spetsnaz grip. It takes away pretty much all the recoil that it added in the first place, like it was never there, and it is an absolute melt machine. Then the last attachment to end this class setup off is going to be the 40 round mag. I'm using this outside of just making videos as well. Obviously, I know some content creators just make class setups for certain weapons to get a video out, but I just use this anyway. It's one of my favorite assault rifles, hence why it's on this list. So coming in at the number 1 spot, this is the weapon I felt what I've had the most success with, wins the most gunfights, and is overall the easiest, best weapon to use within Cold War, and that it's going to be, surprise, surprise, the MP5. The MP5 has literally been like one of the most talked about weapons since the game dropped, of course, alongside the AUG and the M16, which I'm not including in the video because they just aren't weapons I want to promote or push out. And on top of that, I also have both of them at like level 5 each. I just seriously haven't used them. We're going to be taking a look at the MP5 as my #1 spot for my favorite weapon in Cold War. Even though I haven't used it in quite a bit, it still is like a go-to weapon and something that's very easy to use. It's a standard weapon that any player can try out, and the class setup for that we're going to move on to as well. Pretty obvious choice because of just how its performance is. Even after the nerf, they did nerf it, adding recoil, other stuff like that, decreasing the effective damage range by 33%, which is a pretty significant decrease, but with my class setup, it pretty much just makes it feel like it was never nerfed in the first place. So jumping into this class setup, we're going to be rocking the standard sound suppressor as well as the task force barrel yet again. This is going to add 6% damage, 50% effective damage range, and 75% bullet velocity, making it feel like the gun was just never nerfed in the first place. Of course, the extra recoil that this barrel adds on top of the nerf the gun already got, you definitely have to pull down your analog stick a little bit more, and you're probably going to have to get used to it as well, because there is a noticeable difference in the recoil. I have to admit, I did have to adjust to it, you know, after like, it only took me like 3 or 4 games. Just pull down on your analog stick more, control the recoil. The recoil pattern doesn't change, so it's going to be what you're familiar with. It's just increased, basically. To pull back on a decent chunk of that recoil, we're going to be rocking the field agent grip, which is the best you can use. Even if you're not using this barrel, use the field agent grip anyway. It'll give you the best recoil control. Next up for the mags is going to be the Salvo 40 round fast mag. Now this makes the gun feel like it's got sleight of hand. It has the fastest reload speed to it. It's got 40% extra reload speed, which is really, really good. It's my go-to for the MP5. And then ending this class setup off, we've got the airborne elastic wrap, which adds ADS speed, flinch resistance, as well as the ability to drop shot with this gun, which is a pretty big deal. You know, you have the option there. You don't have to have your ADS go out when you actually prone, because, you know, if you don't rock this wrap, you won't be able to do that. There's some others you can do as well, but this is just the best. It gives you all the best pros, and there's no reason to not use this. So with all that being said and done, that is going to wrap up my first Cold War top weapons video. I really enjoyed doing this. These were my 3 weapons that I felt most comfortable with in game, that I've had the best experience with, and that I've overall enjoyed using the most. And if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like on it, drop a sub if you're brand new to the channel, with post notifications on so you actually know when I upload, because I'm going to be continuing to roll out content all of December. Obviously there's going to be a lot of cool things coming to the game, and yeah, I just hope you guys are going to enjoy the videos. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody, and I'm out.